When you take a honeybee out of the hive, shake it around some, what's the first thing it does? It beelines straight back home. For a quack cult obsessed with the many, not the few, the stuff the brave and the downright stupid call the greater good, they figured royal heirs were the perfect, unwilling recruits. How many kingdoms under the sun had their pride and joys, their bright, shiny futures pinned on a single young'un, whisked away to the hot to fight the good fight. The not-so-little lady had always assumed someone would be waiting for her. They had to be, surely. She was brought up on high and mighty teachings that it was her destiny, responsibility to rule, that those poor little commoners would tear themselves apart without a strong guiding hand or boot as needed. Those helpless, ordinary folks were doing just fine without her and her ilk. They barely remembered her lot, never mind her. Her father, the great Grand Duke, was long gone. When people hear his name, they think of the jam pastries they have every year on the day he lost his head. You don't want to know where that messy, raspberry-dripping tradition came from. The greater good had risen up a good long decade ago and was doing a better job than she or her dad ever could. There was a pretty nice park where the manor used to be, a lovely duck pond where the ballroom was, and cute community beehives where the throne room used to be. The world's got a sick sense of humor sometimes, ain't it? There was no place for her there. Wasn't home anymore. What the hell does a paradise want with a delver?
A lot happens in 3 days. So Mallet has effected a military coup against the forces of Neve.
The forces of the post-Mallet economic free theorists.
Of the post-Mallet economic free theorists, yes. I think his organization is called the post-Neve post-Mallet economic free theorists.
Nice. I should get stronger booze for this.
And now he's thinking about effecting control upon, it's cementing his control upon Ideology Town. So he has effected a solution. He's decided to build a arena. Within this arena, new ideologies...
No dogs are allowed in the arena.
No dogs are allowed in the arena. So within this arena, ideologies can nominate their chosen champions to fight it out in the battle of ideologies in the public gaze. People will naturally begin to support the ideology, and as an ideology grows large, as the champions win more and more battles, their following will naturally grow. And then over time, when an ideology gets too large, a sneaky backroom deal and a stab underneath the armor, and that ideology suffers a shock defeat, and the new ideology takes over.
That is very shrewd, my lord. I'm now picturing you in a war room explaining the strategy to your bands of sycophants. The construction of the Colosseum has been completed, my lord. It's all to the proportions that you expected. This Colosseum is larger than Ideology Town. I don't know where we got all the stone and how we built it in 3 days, but it's like you said, everything's possible when you believe in it.
Excellent.
And your viewing platform is a mile high in the sky. And is that too high? Should we...
That might be a little too high.
Oh, so you were being hyperbolic. Oh, we'll cut it down. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or at least give me something to, I've got my spyglass, I might be able to see something, but I want the crowds to see me.
Okay,
and the glory of the ideology, you see.
Yes. And will you be standing with your with your sword of Cinder to project might?
Well, there's been a thought about the role of the Sword of Cinder in the ideology. Now, the Sword of Cinder was a symbol of the post-Mallet economic free theorists. Now, we are the post-Neve, post-Mallet economic free theorists.
Oh, yes,
so we need a
Neve.
new symbol. And I think a hammer is a more appropriate symbol for this. So I've sent the Sword of Cinder to be refashioned into a suitable hammer.
Excellent idea, my lord. Excellent. And speaking of the devil, of the disgusting girl herself, Neve, there in the corner of the room, what should we do with her? Because what have we been doing? I hit the head, my lord. I've been banging my head against the wall, just like you said. Unfortunately, I forgot. What's been the deal with Neve this whole time?
Well, we can't kill Neve. That'll create a martyr. We can't have that.
Very smart, yes.
So, I propose that we lock her away.
In a cell somewhere, in a dungeon
We
cell
tell the people-
with rats.
Yes, but that's not what we tell them. We tell the people that she's gone to a retreat to re-educate herself.
Yeah, well, she needs that. She can barely count.
It is true. She did not get a learning.
We'll get right on that. And what about that other, the brooding one, the loner, the strange dark.
What was he calling himself again?
Yes.
And his one person ideology.
Oh yes.
Somewhere in the distance, Sam is crying.
He haunts the castle with his wails of loneliness and solitude. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, is what it is. What should we do about him?
What was his ideology called again?
Oh, I think it's the consciousness through unconsciousness restorationists.
Well, I have a thought for the consciousness through unconsciousness restorationists. Restorationists, like it's plural. It's just him.
It is just him.
Pathetic.
I think it's time that they had a champion.
Ooh, I wonder who that would be.
In our inaugural games,
Ooh,
we'll have our first bout.
He'll be crushed.
But we need an opponent.
Ooh, who could that be? If only some kind of newcomer to the city with bright eyes and hope in her heart was to appear and change the status quo once and for all. But that is not going to happen, my lord. You will be on top of this pyramid, and you will forever, and your favorite servant, me. You know my name, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know your name.
Yes, I'm so glad. Because my mom keeps saying, well, why do you keep doing overtime? They never notice and they don't even... But I said, no, Mom. Lord Mallet Cinder knows my name.
And that I do, and you can tell her that I do.
Well, on the outskirts of Ideology Town, which is now dwarfed by a newly constructed massive coliseum, apparently, a newcomer does arrive. What does she look like when she does?
I believe that she looks dressed in a very dramatic cloak, like she's been traveling for a very long time, even though it's been just a few days that she's been traveling to get back to the heart. And looking at the corner of Ideology Town that she came into, because that's the last point that she saw everyone, Safina's looking for her proper family in the absence of one at her home.
You immediately start feeling this strange pull of these various ideas. You also see in the distance a person putting up posters with invitations to the newly... Do these games have a name?
The inaugural ideological games.
And you see a sketch of a familiar figure, though he looks much more masculine than you're used to. Maybe a little exaggerated, but you know, this is to be expected on propaganda. You still unmistakably realize that this is Mallet. You see the worker put a bunch of those posters up, and look at you. Oh, what you're skulking there in the dark for?
Do you know who this is?
Who? Do I know who Mallet is?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? Have you been... Did you just arrive?
No, I'm just...
Oh, because if you just
forgetful.
arrived, it would explain everything and would not be suspicious whatsoever, so I would just explain it to you. But since you've been here before, now it's kind of weird that you don't know who Mallet is. So I should probably call the cops on you. Cops! Cops! And you start just shouting for cops. What are you going to do?
I run.
Give me give me some kind of roll.
It started last time.
I imagine that I would chuck the clerk at the guy, almost like over him, and just kind of dash down an alleyway.
Make me an evade roll. And as you may have heard, there's a little old thing in this place called ideology meter. So any roll will be risky.
That's not a good face.
1 and a 5.
115.
Oh, that's so tragic.
Okay, so this 1. Please roll stress.
Yes,
One.
you double it.
1 is a critical failure.
So
So your stress will be doubled.
that's a 5.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's exactly 10.
Thank God I already started drinking.
It's
Okay, so
beautiful.
right. Okay. I was really hoping for you to not do this, but here we are. You suddenly realize, and you came here to Ideology Town with a whole like you had a whole thing. You had probably been rehearsing speeches you were going to do for Mallet and for Sam and for Neve. None of that matters. Eco-chivalry is the only ideology that makes sense and should win. You probably should be a champion. Like, you've seen the poster, you've seen the fights. You probably should be a champion for that. But also the cops come because it's a police state, apparently. And they just kind of appear around you and grab you and start taking you to the dungeons.
Fascists.
Yeah, you scream that. They punch you. Political repression at its finest on display here.
And who suffers the most? Our planet.
Yeah, you are being brought into apparently there's a castle, so into the dungeons of the castle. You're thrown into this dark place with rats. There's like tiny window just to remind you of the sky that you're not enjoying the freedom of. And this tiny ray of light illuminating just a vaguely familiar face. There's something about the twigs and the hair that is kind of reminding you of something. You are the only 2 prisoners in currently this political prison because everybody else is fighting in the arena, or at least preparing to. You vaguely remember who Neve is. Vaguely. The most important thing is eco-chivalry and its dominance over the political landscape here. But the dungeon door closes with a loud clank. In the meantime, I want to cut to Sam, just to check in with how our lonely boy is doing.
For quite a long time now, it feels like forever for Sam. He's been going door to door, evangelizing on this concept of if we can all knock ourselves out and become unconscious, we will reset ourselves. And when we awaken, we will be like a fresh slate. Ideology will have destroyed itself and we can return as a blank sheet of paper. Nobody wants that.
I've done door knocking myself. It's a tough gig. It's a tough gig.
He's been giving out little handmade leaflets like every time it's a door slammed in his face, and he's getting pretty desperate.
But you're out on the streets, at least you're getting fresh air.
Yeah.
And this afternoon, something a bit more unusual. Ideology Town has really changed in the last 3 days. It used to be constant gunfire everywhere, but now everyone is super focused on preparing their champions. So there's much less violence on the streets.
Yeah.
You might think that's a good thing. It's not. It's worse.
Okay.
But for at least the streets there's a little less.
You don't have to duck as much. Yeah. You just have to.
Yeah. And so you can kind of hear things happen on the streets more. There's a vaguely familiar girl, and she's screaming, "Fascist state, dirty pigs," as a bunch of guards are carrying her away.
Okay.
And you think, that looks like somebody I used to know. Oh well. You do notice also another figure. And you're the one on the street a lot.
Yeah.
There's something about the cowboy trousers and the dark braided hair and the cowboy hat that she pulls off.
Hot.
And yeah, she and the way she addresses everyone as the boys.
Ooh.
regardless of gender.
Okay.
And then there's something about the burns that she has all over her skin that kind of triggers some weird memory, but you're not
Okay.
sure where. Did you burn someone at some point? Was there some kind of bee chick that was trying to kill Sophina and then was. He don't remember. It doesn't.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, it took you way too long to
Player had recognition.
Yeah, you see her and you think, oh, and then go about the rest of your door knocking because you are not really in your,
I am not in my right mind. I am
yeah.
in my wrong
That's
mind.
it. I'm bringing an NPC to save this because
We've all been possessed by demons and we have no idea who we are.
So this is a fallout that I have.
yeah.
Yeah.
This
This is a thought we
so
all have.
I have something where I can make the bees take over my body, and then I also have a thing that any mind stress automatically gets cleared at the end of every situation.
Make some kind of roll that would still be risky. I don't want to give this to you for free.
Yeah, of course.
But I'll say if you succeed, whatever it is you want to try to do here, maybe you'll see light.
When you are like anti-heart, right?
Yeah,
So-
I guess I would play
Yes.
this as it's like the bees reacting badly to the actual flood of the ideology into my brain.
They're repairing their hive, but their hive is your mind.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kill the poison.
That is a 9 and 8.
Way.
Yeah. Risky, you said.
Yeah. Okay, so something happens. Tell what happens.
Safina falls unconscious for a second as the kind of eco chivalry is reacting really badly to just the pure grey matter of her brain. And with a buzz and a spark, the bees tear it apart very frustratingly and painfully. And suddenly she bolts upright.
That's a bit of a shame because now that I think about it, eco chivalry is actually really not the worst. I have a long list,
I mean, I was going to say...
and it's
like,
really not the worst one you could
eco
have.
chivalrous Safina was just going to go out and pollinate some shit.
That's it. Just sounds like you love plants and you're polite. So okay, good save. So you're in this cell that you now realize. You see that Neve is in the corner. Neve, are you? How are you looking in this cell that Mallet put you in?
The rats don't ask about the price of coffee and my opinions on the price of coffee, so Neve is quite content.
In the meantime, Mallet. My lord, it is me, your favorite servant.
Yes,
It's been 2 hours.
Squire.
And so we have completed the preparations for the inaugural.
The ideological games.
Yes,
Yeah.
the battlefield of ideas. We are.
Who came up with that name?
It's not me. Anyone, but definitely not me.
It's too late to change it now.
Any specific, last minute instructions, or are we kind of good to begin? Pretty much.
No, I say we head out, and I would like a grand announcement of the games from.
It will be my honor.
Very good, and
My mom says I'm great at public speaking.
very good.
A royal chariot awaits. And what that I hear? A commotion in the dungeons. I will be right there to check it out, my lord.
Excellent, and make sure that my hammer arrives.
Oh yes. Of course, it's already in your royal carriage. It's there, lying on a beautiful pillow. I brought it there myself.
Okay, I could go see to the dungeon.
What is the commotion in the dungeons?
I imagine Safina kind of waking up to herself is like, "Oh, Neve, I'm so glad I found you. Where is everyone? Where's Mallet?"
I don't have opinions on where everybody is.
Uh.
I don't know.
Are you all right?
Yes,
Oh, don't tell me you're caught up with this eco-chivalry business as well.
post-Mallet economic free theory.
I slap Neve. Snap out of it.
And I guess Neve blinks a bit. Oh, it's you, Sophie or something?
What's the racket over here? You've been disturbing His Royal Highness, His Legioness, His Malletness, Lord King God Cinder. Well, everyone's going to the games. Are you just gonna chill here?
No, I'll come to the games.
Why are you in the dungeon again?
I was arguing for deregulation.
Oh, good. Yeah, you should probably come. We'll put you in the dungeon later. I mean, it's a bank holiday today. Everyone's a little
Dungeon holder.
yeah.
Mm.
And your prophetness, Neve, would you like to see the games, or would you like to keep sulking in the corner with the rats?
I don't have opinions on the games either.
Right. Well, if you want to come along, I'll be riding right behind Lord Cinder.
How might someone have a chat with this Lord
A
Cinderness?
prisoner like you? What do you think this is? The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion?
Oblivion is a top tier game, by the way.
You're a lowly peasant. You're nothing. You're never speaking to the Lord Cinder, ever. You're going to the cheapest seats and you'll be happy.
But isn't that the truth of Lord Mallet's ideology, that even a lowly peasant can attain glory through Mallet's wisdom?
I don't know. Make a compel roll.
That shouldn't.
And also make a compel roll as a player.
Yeah. Oh. That's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay. Success at a cost. So you're going to take some stress. 2. Okay, so 2 stress. Take that into ideology, but it's
Yeah.
going to start over again because you already burned through that by having that fallout before.
11.
No fallout. And yeah, apparently you convinced this guy. He's like, oh yeah, no, you're completely right. You should sit with me.
I'd love to. Sure.
Amazing. Anyone seen Sam? I was gonna ask if he was gonna participate in the games.
How has this guy not sorted Sam out for the fight when we're all heading to the arena already? This guy's useless.
I'm like 5 streets over, desperately clawing at someone's door, being like, please let me in. Please let me in.
Are you entering the fights, Sam, do you think?
I think he'll be attracted to the arena from the perspective of there's going to be a captive audience. He's had doors slammed in his face constantly. So I think he will be going to the arena at some point because he's like, I need to get everyone on board.
Okay. Well, Neve, Sophina, you're being put in the servants' carriage right behind the royal gilded mallets, where your new hammer awaits. It's just as big as the gut sword, but now it's a hammer. It's
Mallet
beautiful.
Hefts it, looks at it. It's burning slightly. He's impressed.
It's beautiful, and I'm assuming you have some kind of ceremonial armor to really show the extravagance of today.
Yeah, I think his his plate armor's been sort of trimmed with like a gilded kind of gold trim, and he's got like all this like filigree and stuff going on around it.
Beautiful. So you pull up to the place. The whole town is basically a ghost town at this point because everyone is in the Colosseum. The roar is one of a massive crowds, tens of thousands of people clapping, cheering, throwing flowers. You are being brought to your royal seat overlooking the whole place. You see all the inhabitants of Ideology Town. Quite significantly below you is kind of your advisors and servants and such, where there is a girl that vaguely looks familiar from before, but Satina?
I think as he sees her, he also sort of like feels a weight on his shoulders.
Your show, yeah. The royal physician has been mentioning that you have strange bruises on all over your back and shoulders. Like they've thought maybe it was the armor, ceremonial armor, that was too heavy or something. Everything was triple checked. It was all fine. But yeah, you've had a strange back issue as you sit down in the royal throne and kind of like a little struggles under your weight, but it's okay.
Yeah, makes dad noises as he gets down into the chair.
Yeah. Right. So, Fina, you see like, I don't know, 30 feet kind of behind you and above you, the massive royal, I've said the word royal like 10 times at this point, but it's all gold and drapes and red velvet, opulence. You see Mallet settle in his, he looks very clean. He looks very impressive. Neve, you're there also.
Neve's there also. Actually, I think Neve, as a prophet who's never had a single prophecy, she's wanting to change things. So she's gonna. You mentioned these gold little plates and stuff. Or she's gonna pick one up and yell to Mallet, "You wanted a prophecy. Or the people wanted a prophecy. I'm gonna give you one." And she's gonna use a ritual called Crimson Mirror, where I generate some prophecies.
Oh.
Can it increase your
Okay.
profit margins?
Some guards went to stop you, but then Mallet stops them because he can see that everybody's watching.
Yeah, everybody's suddenly shut up. You can hear a needle drop. And yeah, everyone's hanging out to every word.
I got a 6. That's a 7, in fact. So I do get to cast my spell, and I get to describe 3 omens that are going to happen today.
Can I just ask? It seems a little out of nowhere. Because Neve seemed to be disinterested in really prophetizing. So where did this come from? This sudden...
Well, no one asked her to do it. And she's sort of been ignored for a while, left to her own thoughts. So it's more just sort of wanting to change herself. Not necessarily the ideology, but herself within it.
Is this a cry for help?
Probably a cry for help. Cry for attention.
And if you don't mind explaining what is it, an ability, a thing that you're doing?
Yeah. So, yeah, the ability Crimson Mirror. You bleed into an upturned mirror.
Bleed?
Yeah.
Ooh, well, we need the blood guy.
We
He
need
would
the
love
blood.
that.
Yeah.
We would love. He's probably here. He came around to see the games. he's sitting way in the poor seats, but he's got the binoculars and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're bleeding."
Yeah. I'll say like it's little like golden plate that
It's
she's
a golden
looking
plate.
into.
Sure, the
super reflective. And
crimson
I get to-
grapes.
Roll some dice, which I succeeded on. On a success, I get to describe 3 omens, and I describe them. When people interact with these omens, they get mastery on whatever they're doing. So I am going to describe a shattered hammer.
Oh,
Subtle.
dear.
Subtle. So subtle.
I am flipping off.
Yeah, the daddy hammer is getting broken.
So subtle. Love it.
You think it's sand in the arena?
Sure.
Bloody sand?
Bloody sand. And then like what? Dead mallet.
No, let's not go that far. Poisoned wine or something.
Poisoned
Something
wine.
fun.
Classic. We love a poisoned wine.
Mallet is very grim-faced, and he moves his hammer, which was on a sort of dais in front of him, and he moves it down. And then he would gesture to the announcer and start the games.
Well, welcome everyone to the inaugural ideology battlefield of ideas.
Some people holding applause signs up.
On this historic occasion, we have just witnessed our prophetess, Neve
Of Kingshaven.
of Kingshaven. And she did some prophecies, so that was fun. But that's not why you came here for. You came here to see some blood, maybe even bloody sand. Who knows? Who knows what the evening will bring? Well, you know how this works. It's a fucking Colosseum, people. You don't need me to explain things to you. People go and fight, and then the last guy standing, or gal, they're like, whoa, I won. You've seen the movie. You know what's up. Let's give it up for Mallet, Cinder King.
Woo! Yay!
Mallet's glaring at it.
Show us the hammer.
Mallet.
Mallet stands up, grabs his hammer.
Yeah.
Woo!
The hammer.
Hammer. He's got the hammer
Let-
now.
The battle of ideologies begin.
Woo! First, all the losers are weeded out. The futurist monarchists and the pantheistic mechanists, and they're fighting it out, but no one really expected much from them, so they just kill each other, and that's the death of those two. Pyro-anarchism is actually doing pretty well, I think, until, of course, the ethno-corporatists come. And they just wipe the fucking floor with them. Then we got the astro-oligarchs, the nationalist nativists, the xenolinguistic nudists, the natsuck globalists, the aesthetic meritocratists, the heretical syndicalists, and who could forget the queer integralists? And they're all battling it out, and there is no clear winner, but one. There is one person who wins every battle she's in, and she's slowly rising through the ranks. But people are whispering, like, ooh, is she one of the monarchists? Ooh, no, she must be one of those left paleoconservatives. Who is she? We don't know. All we know is that she's wearing these sick cowboy trousers, and she's got cool braids and a cool cowboy hat, and she has revolvers, and she just kind of stands there and goes, and you're done. You're out.
Cute.
She's rising through the ranks like a dark horse no one expected. And it's the semifinals. And now it's the finals. No one expected that. Of course, the favorite, the champion was Mallet. You had a guy that you were like, okay, you're going to win. That guy, shot in the head, dead in the ground. The woman, she has this bandana that she's using as a face mask that's also black. So you only see like the eyelinered eyes and the sharp eyebrows. And when she takes the title of champion, she throws the mask off. Mallet, there's something about those burns. Did you give those to her? Did she? Did it have something to do with bees and Sophina and some kind of thing? Sophina, you are no longer an ideology haze. You know who this is. And she has been following you this whole time. She shouts out, I am the winner. Well, everybody shushed, listening, hanging on to every word. Mallet, this is looking bad. They like her. For my victory, I want that girl in that seat over there. She's called Sophina, and I want my revenge. I don't care about none of this ideology nonsense. Sir Mallet, or whatever the fuck your new name is. I demand my prize. I demand that girl.
Mallet would first of all turn to his aide. Who is this?
Oh, that's, she's, yeah,
How was she allowed to win?
Is that my mom calling me? I gotta go. I have to take this. I'm sorry. I'll be right with you. But I have seen some people dyeing their hair black because they're really into the whole, and like really thick eyeliner is in now. It's spreading like wildfire, the trends.
There's a guy with a stall selling cowboy hats, and he's making like a shredding.
Mallet gestures to his guards. Guards, with me. And he starts making his way down into the stadium. It's quite a long way, actually. You see the gates open, and then two lines of guards troop out, surround the woman, and then Mallet walks up behind. You see, you've presented me a problem here.
Give me Sophina and I'll be gone. I don't care about any of this. I just want what's mine.
Safina then appears, having walked down as well. And Mallet, stand back. It's me she wants.
You. I know you as well. Can feel that, like, his shoulders drooping from this weight on his. Can Safina see the grief, the guilt demon on his?
I don't know. Good question. Give me a discern roll. I think the explicit visual manifestation was exclusive to the Ash Lake, but it's not impossible for you to see it.
That's a 9, 9, 10.
9, 9, 10. Then you very much see it in very, like, it's very physically there. Mallet is clearly unaware, but yeah, you see this the ring type vaguely girl. Yeah, these atrophied legs and very muscular hands. Very much there.
I think her impact on Mallet has been that he has become this sort of like controlling, hence the police state, hence the need to control everything. Even the building of the arena itself is almost come from this like desire to control, so that he doesn't lose the ideology, but is the ideology taking the place of something else in his heart? Who knows?
Sure.
Just let me kill her, and I'll finally be able to breathe.
I know that you've been searching for me. I know that
She just spits on your face and doesn't let you finish. I don't need your words. I need your blood on the sand.
you know that it's not going to change anything.
I don't care at this point.
Then you can take your best shot.
She takes out a gun.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No. This happens. If this is happening, it's happening officially. We need to be sure that everybody knows what's going on and that they see this upstart ideology get crushed. Okay?
If that's what gets me Sofina, sure, I agree.
Mallet gestures to his guards. Guards, back. And the guards step back to make a broad circle around, and Mallet steps to the side. Do we have an announcement?
Let me through. Sorry, let me through. Yeah. Wow, what a crazy development. We have our God King Cinder Mallet come down to the people to anoint this battle of... I don't really know what this chick's deal, but she's real angry. And this one is kind of not, and just kind of wants it to be over. So it's a weird vibe down here in the arena right now. But who knows where this goes? I'll fight.
Great. I guess I would imagine that she would draw her pistols immediately and try to take a shot. And I want to try and... A big fight's or several fights have gone on in this arena, like previously. I want to grab some of the red sand on the floor of the arena and duck down and throw it in her face.
Okay. Now, Neve, considering you've made a prophecy, remind us how that worked again.
Yes, so you roll with mastery when you interact with anything that I've prophesized. You get
So how
mastery.
does mastery work then?
You get an extra.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, even supersedes if you don't have throwing sand. I think you get to roll 2 dice instead of rolling no dice for throwing sand, I guess.
Can I have it as an evade?
Yeah, evade. I was going to suggest evade.
995.
Success
Wow.
with no stress. You throw the sand into her eyes. She makes her shot, goes completely wide. She just begins reloading. And I just want to quickly check in, Sam, Neve, are you watching this? Are you
Yeah.
like, what's the?
My prophecies are coming true.
So you're excited?
Yes,
No,
sure, we're excited. Neva's excited.
there is a small chance of this. Can you both make a D10 roll? And on a 10,
D10.
yeah. And I'll just say on a 10 because it's a small chance. But if you roll a 10, well, let's just see if you do.
I did.
You rolled a 10.
I rolled a 0. Yeah, a 10.
I rolled an 8.
You almost rolled a 10. I
I saw it, and
that.
it wanted to
I
be a
saw
0,
it.
and then it was like, nope, not today.
Yeah. So what I was going to say would happen is, Neve, I would consider the scene happening because it's Mallet. It's Sofina who just arrived. It's this bee chick.
Beatrice.
Something is triggered in your memory. You know what's going
We killed
on.
all her friends, so we're kindred spirits in a way.
You're going to have to do something to keep this brief sanity. You have this chance.
So I've got the spell Ascendancy, where I can sort of take control of an area, make it a cult rather than whatever domain it was before. I don't think it's a cult currently, so make a little. I mentioned some wine. It's not going to be poison, so it's not going to help. But scroll a little circle of blood with wine and start casting that spell. So it's risky, so I take away the highest. So I've got a 9 actually.
Okay, amazing. And I'm assuming nobody finds it suspicious because you apparently now do prophecies. So when you start doing your witch cackling and drawing circles and blood wine on the floor and everything, and you manage to make the whole Colosseum safe for you, to be clear. Everybody else is still under the influence. It would take enormous effort to free the whole town. But for yourself, you are thinking clearly. Sophina, in the meantime, I just want to make it clear for you. Beatrice the Bee Chick is clearly a very capable warrior. I think for you, considering you're also not really trying to kill her anyway, she is tougher than you in this fight. So this is more about you kind of surviving it for as like, I saw you throwing sand and stuff as you buying time. Do you have a thing that you're like buying this time for? Because I think if you just keep the fight going, she will end up winning just because she is a fighter and you are, you're many things, but you are not arena fighter.
No. And I think you are right. I think throughout all of this, Safina will try to survive for a little while longer and is going to try and convince Mallet to step in. You're not this, you're not Cinder, you're not Lord of anything, you're Mallet, you're a Delver, you're my dad.
You're my... you say that.
Yeah.
Make a compel roll.
I won't have a domain for this, will I?
Hey, I just made the entire arena a cult.
Oh yeah, apparently you have a cult.
Yeah.
Cool.
You might not have noticed it because everyone's focused on the fight, but there are weird sigils painted in wine all over the place, just cropping up.
Amazing. I love it. I got a 10, a 6, and a 7. But when I roll a 6, I turn it into a 10.
Mallet, this girl calling you her dad, kind of weird. And also does trigger a lot of shit that's been going on for a while. This is a brief respite, but you suddenly are completely aware Sophina is being attacked.
Yeah. Right at this very moment.
Yeah.
He's like snapped into comprehension and he's going to shout to Sophina, "What have I done? No, get back! Get back!" Your prophecies only last one session.
Yes.
As Mallet jumps in front, he orders Sophina behind and he has his like hammer in front and the bullet actually chips at the corner of his hammer.
I see you sneakily. This is not a shattered hammer. You're trying to tell me that your amazing hammer that you want to keep is now shattered, but also use the word chipped. Listen, I'll take it, but I'm not considering this part of the prophecy. It needs to be shattered properly to be part of the prophecy. I think the woman, as she's proven before, she will keep fighting in desperate situations. So she just has 2 guns out. She's shooting both at Mallet, at Sophina. The crowd is going wild. The announcer, "What a night! What an amazing night! We don't know who's fighting who, but our Cinder King is stepping in, and there's a tiny chip that fell off his hammer. But don't you worry, it's not shattered. It's not shattered anyway, so don't you worry about any prophecies. Wow. And now it's time for a sponsor, Eco Chivalry. Come and join your local Eco Chivalry org and plant some trees."
We like pollen.
I also want to just briefly cut to Sam trying to convince some guy next to him to join the ideology, completely unaware that these are his friends fighting for life and death.
Yeah, like he's been sort of in one of the archways, just like trying to get people who are going to the bathroom, just like, please come on, like this time it has to work.
You are very close to this action scene.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, I could meet you on the way down or something.
That would be nice, yeah.
So yeah, she's going to run to get Sam on her way to the pit.
Yeah.
Everyone lets you pass. You're a revered figure.
We're a weird figure. We're a prophet.
And what do you do when you approach him?
Sam, we need to step in.
Hi. Oh my God. You're perfect. So
No,
I've got this
no,
idea,
no,
right?
I'm
Where
not.
you have to,
Sam, you're not yourself.
but if you just like open your mind to it, then you would understand that, if we all become unconscious, then we will all like,
Sam, trust me when I do this. And Neve takes out her sacred blade and just shanks you in the neck.
In the neck.
Yeah, I mean, that's the quickest way to kill someone. You need to go to the grey now, Sam. You'll figure it out when you're there. And
Sam's
I'm
just
sure
like-
you'll come back.
Sam's just choking on blood at this point.
You are.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the crowd is going to stop the prophetess from killing anybody. She darn wants to.
Mhm.
So, Sam, you bleed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like lying on those like marble steps, and it's very beautiful because it's blood cascading down the steps. And
You're in the gray.
is my head clear now?
I think it would be fair for that to be enough.
Okay.
I'll fix up his hole. I've got witch spit. I'll just sort of like rub some saliva and it
Why
sort
did
of,
you say hole?
My
his,
neck
his
hole.
windpipe.
Gotta fix up my neck hole.
I rubbed some saliva in his neck and it sort of, I guess, burns over or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's your healing ability, right?
In the space where I was, my death is going to manifest in front of you, because when someone does major blood stress to me, my death manifests. And usually they would try and protect me and inflict DH stress on whoever caused the fallout. But I'm wondering if in this situation, their presence recognizes you and like understands what you're doing, because you are trying to protect me in a weird way.
In a weird way.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if my death can assist you in this. And it's kind of like, it looks a bit like Lucy, but it's not. It's more abstract. So yeah, he's standing on the steps of this arena watching this thing happen. And yeah, I'm going to take a second to think about that, if that's okay.
Okay. Mallet and Sophina.
Mallet would have gone to try and take her down. Maybe not necessarily kill at this point, but for the purpose of the roll, maybe it's a kill roll.
Okay.
He would have run into.
Make a kill roll. And Sophina, how are you trying to keep close to?
Yeah, I think if Mallet's trying to pin her down, I think I'd probably be trying to help with that.
Okay, fair.
So can I give an assist?
Okay, it's a 7.
7 is a success with stress. I'm not going to make you roll. I'm going to give you narrative stress. You pin down Beatrice. She sees that, okay, you got your guards. You're now in the fight. She had her chance of shooting Sophina. She fucked it. But you're here. Sophina's here. She rips her shirt and you see some kind of ticking device strapped to her. And a big chunk of dynamite right under it. She puts her hands on it. One sudden movement, and my finger lifts from this button. You won't have time to run. We're all going down. If I can't get revenge on you whilst I'm alive, I'll gladly take it in death. Tell the guards to keep their distance.
Mallet holds a hand up as some guards are approaching.
I'll say, Mallet, you've when constructing tunnels, I think you've encountered dynamite.
Yeah.
You're aware that her threat is very viable.
Are we saying narratively that this is death? It's not like a roll to see how much stress.
I would say, yeah. Sam, just to check in with you. Do you come back to life?
Yeah, I think if his death is on one side and I'm like, if his death is in life and I'm currently in death, I think there's going to be a second in front of Neve where like, I think Neve would see that this abstract sort of form, it's almost going to form a hand and it's going to reach through something and then it will pull Sam back into reality, back into like aliveness. So he's going to wake up on the ground and just be like gasping, Neve, oh my God.
You're
Oh.
back. You're back.
Thank you. God, you looked so weird for a minute. You looked like a stranger.
Did I see your Lucy, but how you remember her?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, Mallet and Safina, it looks like they're fighting someone they might die.
I look down. Oh my God, right, we got to help. I try and get up and start getting up. Oh my God, we got to help them. Come on. And I'm going to grab Neve and I'm going to try and start pulling her down the stairs to get towards the arena.
What a night, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. The Beatrice, the bee chick, pulled out a fucking bomb. Nobody expected that one. It seemed to be strapped on her. She's got her finger on the trigger. Let's see what happens next.
Mallet, step away.
I can't. Look, she's got a bomb. She's got a bomb.
I know. Look, if you step away, you're not going to get hurt by this.
But you, I can't lose you. When you didn't come through, it was. I thought that was it. I thought I'd lost everything again. I realized how much. Like, I know you're not Leah, but you've become so much more to me over the last 5 years that we've been traveling together. I can't lose you. I can't be alone again.
You won't lose me. I promise.
You promise?
Just step away.
Mallet's grip on the bee woman is loosening, and he starts to step back. He's like, okay, Safina, I trust you.
I'm gonna let them go.
What are you talking about?
Our friends. I'm gonna let them go.
She looks at the kind of bees surrounding your body, but that's impossible. You can't. What are you trying to pull?
I can't keep living like this. They have a purpose beyond me, and I've held them back from that for too long. Just promise that you'll leave here, you'll leave everyone, and you'll just go. And I think in that moment, she then kind of physically claws into her chest and rips herself apart. In that moment, Safina lets go of herself, her own ego, everything else, everything that makes up herself, and completely gives in to the voices of the bees that physically make up her body. And that's sparked by her physically ripping herself apart, but in reality it's her ripping apart her entire psyche. And every single aspect, facet, and atom of her being turns into a multitude of bees which spread out around the entire arena. And they quickly start building the arena into a hive, into these weird collections of perfectly hexagonal honeycombs and crystalline chunks that seem to be radiating out these waves that are fighting against this ideological drag. And this symphony of buzzing carries with it 1,000 individual voices that are really difficult to make out. Somewhere in that mess is Safina's voice saying sorry.
Wow.
Now, I know what you're doing, but just for those at home, you are using a Zenith ability, which is a kind of max level ability on character sheets and hearts, and all of them basically let you do something epic, but also kill your character.
As it should be.
What happens to Ideology Town now? And like this is completely in your hands. I've no idea what these bees would.
Well, I guess the stadium becomes a kind of beacon for unheartness and begins, radiating out this signal that's fighting against the stuff that made Ideology Town Ideology Town. I think there's a moment where those two signals, as it were, are fighting against each other in everyone's heads, but then very quickly the hive signal cancels out the ideological signal, and people wake up for the first time in a very long time. I'm imagining that the start of it is all encompassed by this burst of light, and that no one can really tell what's happening in the center of it. And then when people have finally blinked and gathered their senses and look towards the center of the arena, they just see one large crystalline chunk in the middle of the arena with a few fingertips and maybe even a leather-bound boot close to the surface.
Okay. Mallet, you blink, and the extremely bright light calms down a bit, and you see what Sophina just described. You also hear a murmur of what I'm assuming tens of thousands of people who suddenly realize that, it's all been nonsense. I think there's this awkwardness in the air. It's like somebody turned the light on at an orgy, and it's not it's just a little like, oh.
So is the bee woman?
I mean, it sounds like she's now part of
she's
some
part
kind
of
of
this
crystalline
thing. Okay.
chunk.
Okay.
I think maybe her bomb exploded at that moment, and the chunk encompasses this like an explosion frozen in space with a bunch of bees like radiating around it. An anti-explosion. We have a frozen perpetual explosion, which is actually much cooler than the normal boring
Yeah.
Just
explosion.
really wanted that explosion.
We have
It's like a lava lamp.
Yeah.
Like,
we have a deep explosion that makes you think.
Yeah, Mallet. There's no sign of Sophina. Sophina's gone.
Just a whisper in the wind.
But he heard the.
I think you would understand what happened.
Yeah. I think Mallet feels like obviously a deep sadness for loss of Sophina, but also it's kind of cathartic in a way. Like he sees that it's been like a positive thing for her, and he sees that something beautiful has come out of that, and it actually helps him see about his daughter Leah and sort of envision that actually maybe something good came of her life. I think in the light it kind of like he felt the weight lift off his shoulders as well. Can see all of his former guards looking a bit confused, and then he's gonna turn around and see Neve and Sam at the edge.
Yeah, running out to come and help, but we're probably a bit late.
where did she go?
Is everything sort of encased in this sort of honeycomb beacon?
Yeah, there's
around
like
the
huge
arena?
chunks of honeycomb like everywhere. Like half of one of the stands is just kind of like
So
honeycomb.
Mallet gestures around to all of the sort of honeycomb features around, and he's like, she became this.
Did she at least choose that for herself?
Yes.
Then I guess I'm happy for her.
Good. I think we should leave this place.
Yeah. I'm going to very tentatively just put my hand on the crystal for a second and then kind of take it away. So we just we just leave her here?
Well, I don't think that's Safina. That's Safina's still with us in a way. And he a bee comes and lands on his finger. And he's like, he lets it go.
Okay.
And, but yeah, I think I don't know if I was the nicest person while I was under the influence of all of this. So and he looks at all these tens
Yeah,
of thousands of people and he's like,
yeah.
maybe we should just do what we came here to do and get out of here.
Yeah,
I suppose. Is there any... Do we need to? We could just go home.
We always finish a job.
I suppose so. I don't really have a home. Let's...
Maybe we're at home.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe easier if you weren't my friends. They keep dying.
I've kind of died a few times now, and I'm back. So, I mean,
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yes. Okay.
I think
You have a much better way with words than me.
I think they're all gonna. I mean, it seems like we're all gonna die eventually. You know, it might as well be with each other until it happens, right? I look between Mallet and
Yeah.
Neve.
Right, yes.
Better than being alone, anyway. I think that kind of sucks.
Do you think Echo's still about? Maybe we could ask him to fix everything.
Yeah, let's go find Echo.
From a outside perspective, these bees you were saying, or this force is creating kind of like an unheart. Sima, you were saying that the sane asylum is like the most heart thing you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And these are in the same town. Is anything starting to kick off between the two forces?
Yeah. You've got a physics degree or whatever,
So does Amber.
right? So what if you had a very strong resonating pulse here, and they would kind of cancel each other out?
Depends on the phase. If they were in phase, then they might actually constructively interfere.
Yeah.
And
Make everything much worse.
yeah.
By much worse, like could they destroy buildings?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Depends on the what you're talking. Is it like an energy, like a light energy, or is it like a sound, or like an ocean wave? They would constructively interfere, and you get a bigger wave that literally
I
adds.
see that I've triggered the
Yeah.
actual physics response. I'm looking for fun science here.
So a wave oscillates. A wave goes up and down. Imagine you have the zero line. That's your equilibrium, nothing. You have the ultimate anti-heart at the bottom, and you have the full heart at the top. These two are interfering with each other, causing a massive wave, and it's oscillating
You're
radically.
beginning to lose me.
It's going between super heart and super not heart,
Okay.
and it's sort of doing that over time. So you get like, oh my god, everything's super wacky and heart, and then like it kind of flips to the other side, and it's not heart, and then it's they're sort of fighting
okay.
each other.
Okay,
like
I'm
that.
into it. I'm into it.
That's an idea.
So obviously this crumples all the architecture because that's epic,
Wow.
We didn't get our explosion.
right? No, I think it's more entropy. I think it's more the sky begins to have this like fisheye effect about it. The buildings turn into the sphere when everything just kind of compresses in on itself, like inside of a black hole. Fun science black hole. Most people just run away from it. And I don't want to be a genocidal maniac. I'll say vast majority of people survive. It's just a panic rush outside. Mallet, you do get this. Your servant run up to you just before going, "Hi, I know I've been brainwashed and everything, but I just want to say I actually enjoyed working for you. You were fun. I made my mom up just to sometimes get out of, so I feel a bit guilty about that. It was actually fun working for you. Like this, believe it or not, this was not the worst job I had. So just want to say thanks.
You're welcome. Also, if we're getting things off our chest, I actually have no idea what your name is.
Oh. Sophina died. Runs away.
Perfect response.
Fucking exploded into bees.
Perfect response.
But everything just is gone. There's just ruins, and there is Colosseum, and then there is one building that's left standing, Sane Asylum. Apparently still set on completing her last job. Oh, I said last very ominously. No, you'll have so many jobs after this. You will live long